The Maine lobster, its name alone conjures images. Deep, cold Atlantic waters, rugged coastlines dotted with fishing villages, and of course the succulent, sweet meat. This creature is more than food, it is an icon, a symbol of luxury, a cornerstone of New England cuisine. In fine dining restaurants worldwide, Maine lobster holds a place of honor. Chefs celebrate its delicate flavor, they praise its firm texture. It appears in bisques, rolls, and thermidors, or simply steamed, served with melted butter. This crustacean commands a high price, a true taste of the North Atlantic. Today, lobster means luxury. This was not always the case. In colonial America, lobsters were incredibly abundant. They washed ashore in large numbers after storms. So plentiful, they were considered nuisance, or at best, food for the poor. A far cry from their current status. Indentured servants sometimes had clauses. These clauses limited how often they were fed lobster. Imagine that. Early settlers used lobsters for fertilizer. They also used them as fish bait. Prisons served lobster to inmates regularly. It was cheap protein, easily sourced. Children were reportedly embarrassed. They felt shame taking lobster sandwiches to school. It was a sign of their family's poverty. The perception was vastly different then. The lobster's image was quite humble, a common, almost undesirable food. The transformation began in the mid-19th century. The rise of canning technology played a role. Canned lobster could be shipped inland. This introduced it to new markets, people who had never seen the coast. Slowly, opinions started to change. The development of railways also helped. Live lobsters could be transported further. The Maine lobster leads a fascinating life. It is a life of growth and renewal. It all begins as a tiny egg, carried by the female lobster under her tail. She can carry thousands of eggs. These eggs hatch in late spring or summer. The larvae are minuscule, almost transparent. They float near the ocean surface, vulnerable to many predators, a perilous start to life. These larvae go through several molts, shedding their exoskeletons as they grow. After a few weeks, they look like miniature lobsters. They then settle on the ocean floor, seeking shelter in rocky crevices, or hiding among seaweed beds. This is where their true journey begins. The ocean floor is their new home. They are solitary creatures mostly, preferring their own company. Growth for a lobster is a slow process. It is defined by molting. To grow larger, a lobster must shed its hard shell. This is a difficult and dangerous time. The lobster is soft and vulnerable. It hides until its new shell hardens. A young lobster may molt several times a year. An older lobster molts less frequently. Maine lobstermen are a unique breed. They are deeply connected to the sea. Their traditions are passed down through many generations, father to son, mother to daughter. This is more than just a job. It is a way of life, a heritage carefully preserved. They are stewards of the resource, guardians of the lobster population. The Maine lobster fishery is owner-operated. This is a key characteristic. Large corporations cannot dominate. Individual fishermen own their boats. They manage their own traps. This fosters a sense of responsibility and a long-term view of the fishery. They understand the need for conservation. Their livelihood depends directly on it. This structure is vital to sustainability. Community is strong among lobstermen. They often fish out of small harbors, places where everyone knows each other. There is competition, certainly, but also a sense of camaraderie. They share information about conditions. They help each other in times of need. This tight-knit culture is important. Section 5. The art of the trap harvesting Homerus americanus. Harvesting Maine lobster is an art. It relies on skill and knowledge. The primary tool is the lobster trap, also known as a lobster pot. These traps have a traditional design. They're rectangular, often made of coated wire mesh. They replaced older wooden traps, but the basic principle remains similar. A baited trap lures the lobster inside. It is designed to be a one-way journey. The traps have two main compartments. The kitchen is the first section. It contains the bait bag, usually filled with salted fish like herring. Lobsters enter through a funnel-shaped net opening. Once inside, they seek more bait. This leads them to the parlor, a second compartment, harder to escape. The design is clever and effective, perfected over many decades of use. Lobstermen set their traps on the ocean floor. They are marked by colorful buoys. Each lobsterman has a unique buoy color pattern. This identifies their traps. Traps are set in strings or trawls, multiple traps connected by a single line. Choosing where to set traps is crucial. Section 6. From ocean floor to sorting table. The first steps. The journey from ocean floor is swift. Once a lobster enters a trap, it waits in the cool, dark water until the fisherman hauls the gear. This could be a day or two. On deck, the sorting begins immediately. This is a critical stage. Speed and care are essential. The lobsters are handled firmly but with an eye to minimizing stress. The fisherman is the first line of quality control. He or she quickly assesses each lobster. Size is the initial check. A special gauge is used. It measures the carapace, the body shell, from the eye socket to the start of the tail. This measurement must be precise. Too small, it goes back to grow. Too large, it might be a prime breeder and also returned in some areas. Egg-bearing females are protected. They are easily identified by the mass of eggs under their tail. Section 7. Measuring up, conservation, and the Maine lobster. Conservation is the backbone of Maine's fishery. It is not just a buzzword, it is a set of strict rules and deeply ingrained practices. These measures protect the lobster stock, ensuring its health for years to come. The minimum size limit is crucial. It allows lobsters to mature and reproduce at least once before they can be harvested. The maximum size limit is also important, though not uniformly applied everywhere. It protects the largest, most fertile breeders. These jumbo lobsters produce many eggs. They contribute significantly to the population. Returning them to the ocean is an investment in the future. The V-Notch program is another key tool, marking breeding females for protection. A simple yet effective method. Trap limits are also in place. Each licensed lobsterman can only fish up to a certain number of traps. This prevents overcapitalization and excessive fishing pressure. There are also limits on apprenticeships and the number of new licenses issued. This manages entry into the fishery, maintaining a balance between fishermen and the available lobster resource. These regulations are not imposed lightly. They are often developed with industry input. Section 8. The modern lobster dock, innovation meets tradition. Once landed, lobsters move quickly from the fishing boat to a dealer or a cooperative's wharf. Here they are graded again, sorted by size and quality. Hard-shell lobsters are preferred. They have more meat and travel better. Soft-shell or new-shell lobsters are those that have recently molted. They are delicious, but more fragile. Modern processing has transformed the industry, especially for lobsters not sold live. High-pressure processing, or HPP, is a key innovation. This technology uses immense water pressure. It detaches the raw lobster meat from the shell cleanly and completely without cooking the lobster. This allows for easier meat extraction and a higher yield of usable meat. It also improves food safety. HPP offers several advantages. The raw, shucked meat can be frozen. It retains its fresh flavor and texture better than traditionally cooked and frozen meat. This opens up global markets. Chefs can access high-quality Maine lobster year-round, regardless of location. It allows for value-added products like lobster tails, claw, and knuckle meat, packaged conveniently for consumers and chefs. Section 9. A Taste of Maine, the enduring cultural claw hold. The Maine lobster is more than a commodity. It is woven into the fabric of Maine. Its cultural significance is immense. It shapes coastal communities. It defines a way of life. The lobster boat, the traps, the buoys, these are iconic symbols of the state, recognized far beyond its borders. The industry supports thousands of families, directly and indirectly. Lobster shacks dot the coastline. These unpretentious eateries serve fresh lobster, steamed in rolls or in stews. They offer an authentic taste of Maine, a culinary pilgrimage for many visitors. Lobster festivals celebrate the annual harvest, drawing crowds for food and festivities. These events highlight the lobster's importance to the local economy and culture, a source of pride for Mainers. The industry faces ongoing challenges: climate change and warming waters, shifting lobster populations, the need for continued research, and adaptive management strategies. International trade dynamics also play a role. Yet, the spirit of the Maine lobstermen endures.